You were born on a night when the sky split open and the world screamed in terror. Fire rained from the heavens, the ground cracked beneath collapsing buildings, and a monstrous roar devoured every other sound. The nine-tailed fox had come to erase your village from existence. While others ran for their lives, you arrived in blood and chaos, your first cry swallowed by the sound of war. Your father stood against a force no human should face. Knowing this was the end of his story, while your mother held you for only seconds, memorizing a face she would never watch grow up. They didn't give you a future. They gave you a burden. Steel, symbols, and forbidden power sealed the beast away, not destroyed, not gone, but locked inside a newborn child who had never even opened his eyes to the world. Inside you. When morning came, the fires were gone, the monster was gone, and the heroes were gone too. Only you remained. They called you a savior, yet looked at you like a disaster waiting to happen. You grew up surrounded by people who saw a demon when they looked at a boy, whispers following you through empty streets, doors closing softly but firmly as you passed. No bedtime stories, no gentle hands, no one waiting for you at home, just a silent apartment and cups of instant ramen eaten alone under a flickering light. You learned early that silence hurts more than insults, that being ignored feels worse than being hated, so you made yourself impossible to ignore. You shouted, too loud, caused chaos, painted your existence across the village just to force the world to acknowledge that you were still there. Every prank was a scream for someone, anyone, to see you as human. At night, when the noise faded and darkness filled the room, you stared at the ceiling and wondered what it felt like to belong, to have someone say your name with warmth instead of fear. You didn't understand why your chest hurt when you saw families walking together, why anger and sadness tangled inside you like something alive. You didn't know there was another presence listening to every heartbeat, every moment of pain, every tear you refused to let fall. The monster inside you waited patiently, feeding on your loneliness, growing stronger with every year you survived alone. But loneliness does something else too. It hardens you, sharpens you, turns a forgotten child into someone who refuses to disappear. You swore that one day the same people who looked through you would be forced to look up at you, that you would carve your name into the sky so deeply that no one could ever pretend you never existed. You didn't want revenge. You wanted recognition. You wanted someone to finally say you mattered. And without realizing it, the boy everyone feared began walking a path that would decide the fate of the entire world. You grew up being told you would never become anything, yet every morning you woke up and said the same lie to yourself, that today would be different, that today someone would finally see you. The academy classroom smelled of chalk and quiet disappointment, eyes sliding past you like you were already a failure written in permanent ink. They laughed when you couldn't perform the simplest technique, whispered that the dead last would always stay the dead last, and every failure pressed heavier against your chest until breathing itself felt like a struggle. Then there was him, Sasuke Uchiha, the prodigy, the survivor, the boy everyone admired without question. Where you were noise, he was silence. Where you begged to be seen, he didn't even have to try. Watching him felt like staring at the life you were denied, and hatred became easier than admitting the truth, that you were jealous of someone who was just as alone as you were. When the day came to prove yourself, your body betrayed you again, chakra spiraling out of control, clones collapsing into smoke while the room filled with laughter that cut deeper than any blade. Failure wasn't new, but this time it tasted different, like the last door had just slammed shut. Night fell, and with it came the first real choice of your life. Disappear quietly like everyone expected, or steal the power that was forbidden and force the world to acknowledge you. You chose to fight. Your hands trembled as you opened the scroll, symbols dancing like living things, knowledge pouring into you faster than fear could stop it. Pain burned through your body as you forced your chakra to obey. Something inside you answering with a dark, endless strength that didn't belong to a human child. When they found you, you didn't run. You stood there surrounded by hundreds of shadows of yourself. Not illusions, not failures, but proof that you were never weak, only locked away. For the first time, someone looked at you not with fear, not with disgust, but with pride. Iruka's voice broke through the storm in your head, telling you that you weren't the fox, that you weren't a mistake, that you were a ninja of the hidden leaf. The words hit harder than any attack because no one had ever given you permission to exist before. When he placed the headband in your hands, the metal felt heavier than destiny itself, cold against your skin, real in a way nothing else had ever been. You weren't invisible anymore. You weren't just the container of a monster. You were Naruto Uzumaki, a shinobi, a survivor, a storm that had only just begun to rise. And somewhere deep inside, the Nine-Tails opened its eyes, finally recognizing that the boy it had been trapped within was no longer prey, but something far more dangerous. Someone who refused to break, no matter how many times the world tried to crush him. War does not ask if you are ready. It arrives like a storm that swallows everything you thought you still had time to protect. The battlefield stretches to the horizon, thousands of shinobi standing shoulder to shoulder, fear hidden behind masks of determination, because retreat is no longer an option. You are no longer the loud child chasing attention through empty streets. Now every eye turns to you not with hatred, not with pity, but with something far heavier: hope. The same village that once treated you like a curse now waits for you to become its shield. You can feel the Nine-Tails inside you, no longer a cage but a roaring ocean of power, its hatred burned away by something it had never understood before: your refusal to give up on anyone, even a monster. Explosions tear the sky apart, the ground splitting under forces that feel like gods at war. And in the chaos, you move faster than thought, saving lives you don't even know, catching falling comrades before they hit the earth, standing in front of attacks that would erase entire battalions. Pain becomes background noise. Exhaustion stops mattering. You fight not because you want to win, but because losing would mean watching the world fall back into the same loneliness that created you. Then you see him, the boy who walked the same darkness and chose to embrace it. Sasuke stands across from you like a mirror of everything you could have become, eyes filled with a cold resolve that says he has already accepted destroying everything to end his pain. Your final battle is not about power. It is about proving that bonds are stronger than hatred, that the cycle of loss can end with you. Every strike carries years of anger, grief, memories of shared laughter that neither of you were strong enough to protect. When your fists collide for the last time, it feels like the world itself holds its breath. Silence falls. No cheers. No victory cries. Just two broken survivors lying beneath an endless sky, finally understanding that neither of you ever wanted to be alone. When the war ends, the noise fades, and the village rebuilds, you walk through streets that no longer feel cold. Children run past you without fear. People say your name with warmth instead of whispers. The stone faces on the mountain no longer feel like distant gods. They feel like a promise you kept. You stand at the top, wind pulling at your cloak, looking over the place that once rejected you and realizing that the boy who begged for acknowledgement is gone. In his place stands the man who never stopped believing that even the most broken life can become something the world depends on. You were the child no one wanted, the weapon everyone feared, the outcast who refused to disappear. And now, you are the one who carries the dreams of an entire generation on your shoulders. Not because destiny chose you, because you chose to endure when giving up would have been easier. This was never the story of a hero born special. It was the story of a lonely boy who turned pain into strength and became the light he spent his whole life searching for.